My Dad Grew Up in Orange by Adi. My dad grew up in Orange, a city in the central west of New South Wales. It is 257.5 kilometres from Sydney and is home to 39,755 people. My dad grew up on a street in the centre of Orange. He could walk to school, the pool and a few other places. In his spare time, he played softball. Kids weren't allowed to play baseball until they were older, basketball, cricket and hockey competitively. He also played tennis and golf with friends and rugby league in the playground. On the outskirts of Orange were lots of orchardists and farmers, while in the city were many business people and families. In Orange, it usually rains on 133 days of the year, resulting in around 936 millimetres of rain per year. Can you believe that in Orange it can get to -5? Cold enough for snow. My dad loved playing in the snow with his sister and friends, but sadly it doesn't snow very often because the usual low is 0 degrees. In summer it can get up to 39 degrees, and when it got that hot, Dad loved going to the pool, as you will read. In 1844, a surveyor was sent to check on the land reserved for a village and to advise on the location for a township. He could choose between Fredericks Valley, Pretty Plains or Blackman's Swamp. Blackman's Swamp was chosen and it was proclaimed a village and named Orange by Major Thomas Mitchell in 1846 in honour of Prince William of Orange from the Netherlands. At nearby Offa, a significant gold find was made in 1851, which triggered the Australian Gold Rush. More finds in nearby areas led to the establishment of Orange as a key training centre for the gold. When my dad wasn't practising for sport, he was in the creek that was behind his house. No matter how many times he fell in, he still loved it. He particularly liked following it out of town, where it started running through orchards and farms. He remembers the thrill of jumping fences to grab a juicy apple, don't tell his mum, and the excitement of once being chased by a bull that he hadn't seen in a paddock. He and his friend had never run so fast. The Orange Show, their version of the Royal Adelaide Show, has been held every year since 1872 and was always a big deal for the whole community. Some of the things my dad enjoyed most were fun rides, heaps of animals and farm-related stuff to see and do. One year was an even bigger deal for the Hardys because my dad's dad won the open art competition and my dad won it for the under-12s. They also had very big field days every year, which was pretty cool. My dad loved sitting in all of the big farm machinery. Cook Park was brilliant. Heaps of tall trees Dad loved to climb. Even though Cook Park was really fun, the most significant place for my dad's family was the Orange Base Hospital. It had an excellent reputation and served many surrounding towns as well. It was particularly important for us Hardys because of Dad's head. He fractured his skull in a bad accident a few months after he moved to Orange, and in the following years he was quite susceptible to concussion, and as a result he spent many nights in the hospital after bumps to the head. My dad loved the swimming pool complex and pretty much lived there in the summer because it was free to get in. There was an outdoor pool with lots of grass and trees all around it, and kids were allowed on all the diving boards and towers, so they'd often stay right until sundown. The other special place for my dad was the creek, as I already mentioned, and as it was close to his house, they had a little gate in their back fence that led out to the town netball courts, and the creek was just the other side of them. So he'd be over there regularly catching tadpoles and yabbies or swinging across it on hanging willow tree branches, which occasionally broke and dumped him in the water. This is what Orange looked like when Dad lived there. This is the house where Dad grew up. At the age of 15, Dad's family moved away from Orange and came to Adelaide. In the 30 years he has been in Adelaide, Orange has changed a fair bit. It's so busy now it has traffic lights in the main street. There are also lots more shops and businesses in the centre of town. Orange also has a new art gallery which reflects the town's growing arts and crafts culture. There is also a growing food industry and a foodie culture. Amazingly, all of Dad's old schools are still in Orange, and now, unsurprisingly, you have to pay to get into the pool. This is where I live. This is a Venn diagram. The titles are Orange, the same, and Echunga. Orange has traffic lights and Echunga doesn't. Some of the things that are the same are they both have a creek and they both have farms and paddocks surrounding them. Echunga has no university. We can preserve my Dad's history by laminating this book and listening to all of the stories that Dad tells me and telling the stories to my kids and so on.